Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Vlogmas day. So for today, I have here in front of me a lot of makeup that I really love. So I wanted to put it to the test to come up with a holiday look. As you can probably not tell is good. I've got a very festive dress going on. So I do have a holiday party for work coming up. I don't think I'm gonna be wearing this dress because I think it'll be a little too much. But the makeup, we're gonna be looking at a more bronzy eye, kind of like a smoky version, but in a brown tones, if that makes any sense, like a smoky bronze. So I have everything here. I think I might need to pull out another eyeshadow palette, but we'll see. First, we're gonna start with a very glowy, very hydrated, beautiful base, and then we'll figure out the eyes. Last year I also did two holiday looks, one kind of like more smoky and one with a classic red lip. I'm gonna be leaving those down below in case you're needing a couple more makeup inspiration. And also, before you get into it, please be sure to subscribe. Super easy, just hit the little red subscribe button and be sure to hit the little bell so you get notified every time that I post. Since I want my makeup to last a very long time and look very flawless, I'm gonna start with a primer that's going to be the Photo Finish Primer Water by Smashbox. I had to put my hair in a bun because the studio lights are really making me hot. But anyway, now that the Photo Finish Primer Water is kind of like dried up, I'm gonna go for a second primer out of 3 that I'm gonna be using. So this is the Essence Prime and Studio. This is like a hydrating primer. It's not gonna help for the makeup to last longer. It's not gonna cover any pores. It's just going to help with the hydration. It's just because I do have more drier skin and I feel like today I really need it. And whenever you want your makeup to look better, you want to have a very prepped face. Like before you do any makeup, you want to make sure that your skin is very nicely prepped, hydrated. Even if you have oily skin, it is a very crucial step. You don't have to have a primer to prime your face. You can always just get your moisturizers in before doing the makeup and it's going to go on so much more smoother and nicer. And now for the third primer, we're gonna be using the Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury. I love this product. You can use it as a primer or as a highlighter and it just gives the prettiest glow to the skin. This is actually a very famous product used among celebrity makeup artists for like red carpet looks. So, I mean, if they're using it, it's gotta be, there's a big reason for it. It's just a stunning product. I really love it. I've had it for a very long time. I would not see myself like not ever repurchasing this product. Like I would always need it in my collection. You see that glow? So stunning. For foundation, I'm gonna be using the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin. I don't use this one as much because it is more, I don't know, lately I've been gravitating towards lighter foundation. So like very much on the more tinted side. So an actual foundation I haven't used in a long time. So I want to do like a flawless base and full coverage. So I thought let's pull this one out because it's been a while. And I just grabbed a little bit, like just barely a pump. If you hear a bunch of noise in the background, Michael, my husband downstairs, is playing the piano and then the babies are here running around chasing each other. So that's what's going on. So now, because this is a more full coverage foundation, I do want to use a damp sponge. This is just by Real Techniques. And I'm going to start blending this into my face. I'm adding a little bit extra just to bring out a bit more coverage that I felt like I was missing in some spots. But still, with the beauty blender or beauty sponge, it just makes everything much nicer and more seamless. So look at that glow. It's super pretty. That Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury, it's just a star in my collection. Next step is gonna be corrector. This is just what I use underneath my eyes to counteract, and around my eyes to counteract those white, those veins. Since I don't have any pigment around my eyes, it can get very purpley, very blue toned. So this just helps to remove or diminish a little bit those blue purple colors. Let's move on with concealer. I'm gonna be using the Beautiful Skin by Charlotte Tilbury. I've been testing this. I like the formula, but I'm not too sure about the color. I feel like the shade might be a little light for my complexion. So I've been using it to see how it looks on camera and then in real life. And I'm adding here a little bit because I do have some more whiteness and I do have a small spot right there. And I'm gonna add a little extra on the other side. I always like to wait a couple of minutes, maybe like a minute or two, for that concealer to sit before I blend it. So it's been like 2 or 3 minutes. And for blending, I'm just using my Rare Beauty brush. Before I move on with any powder, I'm going to spritz my face with the Airbrush Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury. And now I'm just going to powder where I used that concealer, and I'm gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I've got mine in the shade 2 medium, and just a little bit of powder around, mostly around my eyes, which is where I'm really concerned, to protect the concealer from like moving around. And then whatever is left, I just kind of like swipe down on my nose and around here on my chin where I used the concealer. I cannot skip finishing powder. I'm gonna go into the Elephant shade from this holiday release from Hourglass and into the middle shade with the same brush that I was using, and I'm just going to powder my under eyes and on top here on my lids. Since we're going for a more glam look, I do want to contour my face. We're going to be using the Hollywood Contour Wand by Charlotte Tilbury. And this is a really good product, but I haven't used it in a while, so I need to kind of like shake it. I don't contour my face on an everyday. If I do anything like that, it'll just be like with a bronzer, like very simple. But today, I do want to contour and define my face just a little bit more. So just applying the product where I would usually contour. I'm gonna go ahead and blend with a BH Cosmetics brush. And now for a little bit of more bronzy look, I'm gonna go again to the Hourglass palette onto the bronzer. And I'm just going to add mostly where I already applied the contour, but this is going to be just to get a little more of that glowy bronzy look. Highlight, I have to wear my merit. If we're talking about holiday parties and having my makeup look flawless, I love this product. This is probably one of my top highlighters of all time. It is just stunning. So I already have all that glow from, you know, the base that I wanted to achieve a very natural, very glowy makeup, but this is just gonna take things to another level. It is just, look at that. It's just such a beautiful product. And I am someone who doesn't really like to apply any balm or liquid products directly on my face because that tends to disrupt the makeup that I have underneath. And as someone who uses concealer to cover something, that is not something that I can take the risk of ruining my makeup underneath. But this product is so good that I just go directly with the product and it does not move anything that was underneath. So just applying on my usual highlighting spots. They're super glowy now, just screaming holiday with this beautiful glowy face. So before we move on with the rest of the face, I want to go ahead and start with the eyes. So for the eyes, I thought that the best option for this more smoky bronzy look would be the original or the first Patrick Ta for the eyes palette. I think we're gonna stick to this and then we'll see. I do have a couple of other things in mind in case this one doesn't give me that bronzy look that I'm going for, but I think this would be sufficient. We'll just use this one and then I'll see how it's looking. I'm gonna go for the middle shade here in the matte version. This is just a lighter brown, and I'm going to add this into my crease just to start creating that definition to the eyes. I brought you in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing to my eyes. So just going back and forth with a fluffy blending brush. I'm going to start to build up more intensity with those browns. So I'm gonna go to the second darker palette, which this is like a more reddish undertone brown, but I think it's gonna be very pretty. And I got a different smaller blending brush, and I'm going to start blending this into my outer V. Now for all over my lid, I'm gonna go with the darker shimmering shade in the palette. So it's gonna be this one up here. And I'm just gonna use my finger for this because that's going to give me the most intensity. And I'm just going to start applying this onto my eye. Now that we have, or I have the desired balance on my eyes with both of the matte shades, I think it's gonna be such a pretty look. I wanted to keep that smokiness, but I knew that I wanted to do a more brown shade, especially because lately I've been very into browns, including lipstick, so I want to pair this with a brown dark shade. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, once it's done, I'll see what lipstick we're gonna go for. But look at how pretty that is. That is definitely the vibe that I was going for. And for the crease, I'm gonna go back into the same brush and I'm gonna mix the darker shimmer that we just used and then the middle brown, the second brown that I used, and I'm going to blend this into my crease. Just ever so slightly, and I wanna do it very little at a time. Now let's move on to my lower lashes, and I'm gonna go into the first shade that we used on the upper to just add a bit of smokiness. I'm gonna go back into the darker shade, but I just want to build up that color. And now I'm just going to go to the actual darker on the palette, and I'm gonna go with a smaller brush, and I'm just gonna add this on the very end of my eye. So I'm not gonna go all the way across, just kind of like on the very tip of the end of the eye. And now with that same darker matte brown, I'm going to grab a smaller, more precise brush, and I'm going to start to define a bit more my lash line. Not really making a wing or anything, just a line that's gonna be just barely there. With that same brush, I am going to do a bit of a fall line. I'm not really going to define it as much. I just want to add, just wing the same eyeshadow very, very lightly. And now to kind of like finish up the eyes, I'm going to grab the lightest semi-matte, because this is not fully matte shadow, so this one right here, and with my pinky, I'm just going to add this on my inner corner. Actually, I'm gonna grab another palette. I didn't feel like that inner corner was enough for me. So this is the Mini Nude, and I'm gonna go into the middle shade, which is the very intense, beautiful shade that I absolutely love. And I'm going to use that as my inner corner. I am really loving this eye look. So I think the only thing that's missing is going to be mascara. If I wanted to amp up this look even more, I would just go for individual lashes. But I think that for today, I'm just going to add lots of mascara, and then I'm gonna do my brows off camera and the mascara application, and then I'll be right back to finish up the entire face. Eyes are all done, mascara, brows. So actually I want to go back to do a bit of a contouring. I don't usually do this like on my everyday, definitely not contouring my nose. But since I want to get a bit more of a defined look, I am going to add just a tiny bit, like literally the smallest amounts, right around the edges of my nose. Like I said, I don't usually do this, but I thought, you know what, let's do it today. Might as well go full glam, and I'm going to be using a smaller brush to blend that in. I've got here a fluffy brush. I find that I don't really use a lot of contour, so a fluffy brush is the one that I like to use the most to just create a bit of shadow right there. Now let's move on with blush. I'm gonna go back to the Hourglass palette, and I'm gonna use the middle shade. So this is the lightest pink out of the two. And I'm just going to add this to the apple of my cheeks, and then I'm going to add a little bit on the center of my nose. And then another thing that I don't usually do is add highlighter on top of blush. But today I'm going to do just the tiniest amount with this one, also from the palette. So I already had the Merit one, which is my favorite, and you can see that beautiful glow. But since we want to be super extra glowy today, I'm going to add just a tiny bit extra. Look at those cheeks. Super, super glowy, a little bit on my chin. And then to make sure that everything is blended nicely and you don't have like a streak of highlight, not that you get that look with this kind of palette, I'm going to go back and add a tiny bit more of the blush. For lips, again, I'm going with that very brown look. I'm going to line my lips with the Pillow Talk lip liner by Charlotte Tilbury. And then for lipstick, I'm gonna go for a new one that I got from Merit in the Black Friday sale, 1990, which is a beautiful brown. So I'm just gonna blot my lips. I did have a little bit of Burt's Bees going on, just to make sure that we don't have a lot of that. And let's go ahead and line the lips. I'm not gonna fill in the lips, I'm just gonna line them. And now for the lipstick, I don't know, we'll see how it looks, but I think it's gonna be such a pretty look. I just wanted that brown everywhere. So let's go ahead and add this. We are all done, and this brown on brown look, it is perfect. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work with the brown lip and the brown eyes, but honestly, this formula of the signature lips is so forgiving that although it is still that, you know, brown lip, it doesn't look over the top. It's not going to be like a matte lip that is going to be like super in your face or like very much of a statement lip. It's still like a statement lip without being like too much, if that makes sense. Like I would not wear a matte statement brown lip with this kind of eye. I would just go for like a very simple eye. So I really love how these two pair together. And then you've got a bit of a pink flush going on, so it kind of like breaks down a bit that brown. This is such a beautiful look, and I think this is going to be the winner. I think this is going to be my actual holiday makeup look for the holiday party that I have coming up, because the eyes, just that dark, smoky, chocolatey brown, it's just so stunning. All done with the makeup, and I am loving this. Between the eyes and the lips, I think it's the perfect combo for the holidays. You still go for that smoky dark eye, but with the brown, it's just a little more forgiving. If you don't want to go super black on your eyes, I feel like this is the perfect way to go. Let me know in the comments below if you would wear this look for your holiday parties, for your posadas. I know that even here in the US, a lot of people still celebrate those. I wish I could go to one, but no one that I know is having any. But yeah, you guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like always, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I do have 5 videos coming every week until Christmas for Vlogmas. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!